So recently I made a post about how 9-year-old me and my 12-year-old brother, we both hid in the bathroom of our house during a home invasion. And actually it reminded me of a story that happened a few years after that, during my teenage years. So this story is kind of a long one, so I'll divide it into chapters. Pre-reunion. I used to participate in a group that did activities intended towards children. We usually went to neighborhoods to make games for the kids and so on and so forth. On Halloween, we usually went to give candy to children while in costumes. That night, I was dressed up as the Joker. So I went to the rally point and met the other guys and girls with whom we were going to give the candies to. We were about 30 or 40 people. The night went as planned. We did some games and then we handed out some candies and then we said goodbye and split. 3 of my best friends were there, and after the activities, we were sat on a bench and talked about random stuff. Eventually, we got to the topic of Halloween parties and how we never went to one. We really wanted to go to a Halloween party, dance, drink, do teenager stuff, I guess. I'm kind of an introvert, but I've always tried to live my life so when I'm old, I don't have to regret not doing stuff. And partying was one of them, so I too wanted to go to a Halloween party. We called our friends, but no one knew of any party going on that night. Eventually, we got in touch with our friend Lewis, who was about 18 years old at the time, asking him if he wanted to do something. He told us he was going to round up a few people and that we could go out in 20 minutes. In those 20 minutes, we went to a friend's house, we cleaned up, changed clothes, and then Lewis called us back. He told us to go to a park nearby to get together. We went, and we reunited with 6 of his friends, 4 we knew, the other 2 we didn't, but they were nice, thinking on what to do next because his house was now unavailable. Reunion. We didn't know what to do, so we went to a skateboard park nearby to see one of them do some sick tricks with this kind of eccentric skateboard. We were all in awe, but after a few minutes we got tired down. After that we went to the cemetery to tell horror stories. Disrespectful, I know, but we were teenagers doing stupid teenager stuff. After that, Lewis said, "Dude, wanna go to drink?" We all said, "Let's drink," and we went to a convenience store to buy some alcohol. I think I have to say that in Chile, people from 16 onwards are expected, not yet totally legal though, allowed to drink unless they are with an adult, and we were people from 18 to 21 years old. Legally adult age is 18, which is also the drinking age, so we had the alcohol, but we didn't have a place to go drink it, so we went to a forest, and that was about 15 minutes outside of town. We couldn't see nothing, so we were on our phones' flashlights, keeping it on. When we go to a nice quiet spot, we lit up a fire. We made sure there was no flammable material nearby. In front of us was an open field, and behind us was a wall of bushes. So as the nights went on, we spent hours listening to music and just drinking, telling funny stories, laughing, playing tag. It was a really good while, until it wasn't. The incident, 3 a.m. Before continuing, I think I have to explain what a flate is. In Chile, a flate is like a gangster. They tend to form gangs. Those who are in gangs tend to be really violent and short-tempered. They usually carry firearms or knives. This is a really vague description. Not all flates are bad people, and some are actually very friendly, but it serves a story, so I think it's well enough, right? Anyways, after a while of dancing and drinking, we were kind of wasted, except for Lewis, his girlfriend, and her sister, all of which decided to remain sober in case something came up. We played hide and seek and tag. It was really funny and a very good time. Then, while we were dancing, we heard something in the bushes. We thought it was an animal, like a rat or a bird, so we didn't think nothing of it. Then we continued dancing around. I remember seeing clear as day a stone going a few centimeters away from my leg. I thought Lewis kicked it. I told him, "Dude, stop kicking rocks this way." He laughed it off and thought I was drunk and just joking around. While I was kind of wasted, I still had my senses. Then I saw another rock going in front of my eyes. It was like in slow motion. I looked up and I saw Lewis's face, a sheer expression of horror. I got scared as well. The only thing he said to me was, "Run." I was like, "What?" And he screamed at me, "Run, dude, run. Someone is throwing rocks." I ran back to the town, to the houses and the lights. Behind me, people were screaming, "Run and hurry." I ran as fast as I could. I was kind of drunk and the terrain was really muddy. It was really dark and I couldn't see where I was going. All I knew was that I was running towards the lights. I ran until I reached the same spot where we came from, already in town, then waited. I was alone and no one came. I didn't know where my friends were. After a while, though, a friend of mine showed up. He screamed at me, "Dude, give me your jacket or something. They hit Fred on the head." When they came closer to the light, I saw him helping the others to walk. Upon seeing his face, blood was running down and dripping down. I immediately gave him my jacket and called an ambulance. Then some of my other friends came. One by one, they all went to Lewis's place because it was nearby. Then Lewis came. "Where's my girlfriend and my sister-in-law?" he said. I told him she didn't come. We sent everyone to the house and waited for 2 missing people. We were ready to go and face the people throwing rocks in case they were doing something to them, but then they appeared. His girlfriend was hysterically screaming. "They hit my sister, they hit her, she's bleeding." We went to her and the whole side of her face was covered in blood. We rushed her to Lewis's house and made sure we were all there. We were, so we calmed down. When the ambulance came, the 2 who got hit went there. Then we called the cops. After the incident, I remember some of us being in shock, others were angry, and others were kind of in the middle ground. Lewis was raging. "These fucking kids," he kept saying, "these fucking kids." We didn't know who threw the rocks. I thought we got in the trains of someone without knowing, and the owner tried to scare us away, but my friends told me they saw a group of people hiding in the bushes. We left everything at the bonfire, the skateboard, the speakers, some wallets. For me, I had everything safe. Lewis then told me and my friends, "Dude, let's find these people. Let's call some guys and let's go after them." I was mad and wanted to retrieve some of the stuff, so I told him that we would go, but if there were too many of them, then we would turn back. He called 2 of his friends, and in 5 minutes they were with us. I knew them because they were some school stuff people, and that they were very loyal and both went to the gym. They were some big fellas. I felt safe when they came. Eventually we went out to look for the people who threw the rocks. When we were about a block away from the forest, we saw them walking with our speaker, the skateboard, and other stuff that we left there. It was almost like a Mexican standoff. We were a block away from them, and we just stared at each other. There were like 15 of them, and only 6 of us, so we didn't do anything and just turned back. As we got a good look at them, they were clearly Pleiades gangsters, so they probably had guns and knives with them. When we came back, we ran into the police car. There were 2 of them. One got out of the car. We told them we called and explained the situation very fast to the police because we didn't want the guys to run away. However, the officer told us, "You are telling me you were drinking, being minors, and then got attacked?" We told him yes, and he responded with the most upsetting shit ever. "So you minors were drinking, doing a bonfire at the forest in the middle of the night, and now you are asking me to give you justice? Do you kids realize how much of a big fucking hypocrites you all are?" I responded with, "We were in the supervision of 3 adults, and not because we were drinking and we deserve rocks being thrown at our heads, dude." He looked at me with an expression of pure hatred. This cop, this police. I was really scared but angry as well. He then repeated himself. We told him the guys were running away as we spoke, but he kept saying it was our fault. Our fault for being kids in the forest drinking, and the fact that we were in that situation at all. After a few minutes, the one inside the car told us, "Hey, let's find the other people and then we can question these kids later," and the other cop got inside. We waited at the house, but the cops never came back. No news ever came of it. Eventually, we all went to our respective homes. Lewis told us the next day that the police had never returned. And so, that is my story. It was a really scary moment in my life, but now when I remember it, it kind of makes me smile because I have a good story to tell in moments like this. So the 2 that got sent to the hospital had to get stitches eventually on their heads and were hospitalized for a couple of days. It wasn't too bad, I guess. And after a few days, we spoke of it like it was nothing, like nothing really bad had even happened. But we were really angry at the policeman. Now, if you got this far, thanks for reading. Peace and love.